I was co-signing the loan for her veterinary clinic expansion, $112,000 that would make me equally liable for the debt. When the vet tech pulled me aside to ask if I knew Dr. Carter's fiancé was moving here from Boston next week. Hey friends, please subscribe and turn on notifications, like this video, and leave a comment with your impressions. This will be a great help. Thank you. We never tire of reminding you. It's all thanks to you. Tuesday mornings in Kansas City have a particular rhythm if you know where to look. The downtown office buildings emptying out for coffee runs around 10, the food trucks setting up along Main Street for lunch service, the fountains in the plaza running full force regardless of season. I'd lived here long enough to know these patterns, to feel the pulse of the city. 14 years working as a civil engineer for the municipal water department, designing infrastructure, planning projects that would outlast me by decades. Precision work that requires thinking in terms of consequences, of what happens when systems fail. Brooke is 35, been a veterinarian for 9 years, ran her own small animal clinic in Westport for the past 4. Passionate about her work, always talking about the animals she'd treated that day, the surgeries she'd performed, the families she'd helped. We'd been together for 3 years, living together in a renovated bungalow in Brookside for 18 months. Talked about marriage casually, but never formally. Both of us focused on careers, building something stable before making it official. The clinic expansion had been her big project for the past 6 months. She wanted to add a second exam room, upgrade her surgical suite, hire another vet to share the workload. The build-out cost was substantial, $112,000. Her business loan application needed a co-signer because the clinic was relatively new and the bank wanted additional security. She'd asked me 2 months ago, showed me her business plan, the financial projections, the architectural drawings. It all looked solid. I'd agreed to co-sign. That Tuesday, April 4th, we had an appointment at her bank at 9:30 to finalize everything. I'd taken the morning off work. Brooke had rearranged her clinic schedule, put her vet tech Mallory in charge for a few hours. We drove separately. She was going straight back to the clinic after. I was heading to a site inspection downtown. The bank meeting took about 90 minutes. Lots of paperwork, explanations of terms, signing page after page. The loan officer walked us through everything. $112,000 at 7.3% over 10 years. Monthly payments of $1,317. Brooke was the primary borrower. I was the co-signer, which meant if she defaulted for any reason, I was fully liable for the entire debt. You understand that as co-signer, this debt appears on your credit report and affects your debt-to-income ratio for any future borrowing? The loan officer asked me. I understand, I said. And you're comfortable with that level of exposure? I looked at Brooke. She smiled at me, squeezed my hand. We're building a future together, she said. I'm comfortable, I told the loan officer. We signed everything. The loan would fund within 3 business days, and construction could start immediately. We left the bank around 11. Brooke was energized, already on her phone texting the contractor. I'm going to stop by the clinic and tell everyone it's official, she said. Want to come see their reactions? I've got that site inspection at noon, but I can stop by for a few minutes. We drove separately to her clinic, a small brick building with a big front window and a hand-painted sign reading Westport Animal Care, Dr. Brooke Carter, DVM. The parking lot was half full, morning appointments. We walked in together. Mallory was at the front desk, mid-20s, efficient, had worked for Brooke since the clinic opened. She looked up when we came in. Dr. Carter, how'd it go? It's official, Brooke said. We got the loan. Construction starts next week. Mallory came around the desk to hug her. That's amazing. Congratulations. They talked excitedly about the timeline, the new equipment, how much easier things would be with 2 vets. I was checking my phone, making sure I had time to get downtown, when Mallory looked at me. Miles, can I talk to you for a second? Just quick and private? I looked up. Sure. We stepped outside, leaving Brooke inside talking to the receptionist. Mallory looked uncomfortable. I don't know if I should say something, but I want to know if I were you. What's going on? Last week, Thursday, Dr. Carter had me order some supplies from our Boston distributor. While I was on the phone with them, I mentioned we were expanding, and the sales rep said something like, "Oh yeah, Dr. Carter told us her fiancé is moving there from Boston next week to help run the new location." I felt something cold settle in my chest. Her fiancé. That's what he said. I figured maybe he was confused, Or maybe she'd mentioned you and he misunderstood. But then Friday, a package came addressed to Dr. Brooke Carter and Dr. Spencer Reed. It was medical equipment samples. I asked Dr. Carter about it, and she said Spencer was a colleague who was consulting on the expansion. Spencer Reed. Yeah, you know him. Never heard the name before in my life. Mallory shifted uncomfortably. I Googled him. He's a veterinarian in Boston. Specializes in orthopedic surgery. His LinkedIn says he's relocating to Kansas City this month. I stood there processing. When you asked Brooke about the package, what exactly did she say? Just that he was a colleague helping with the expansion plans. That he had expertise in clinic build-outs. Nothing about him moving here or working at the clinic. But the package was addressed to both of them. Yeah, like they were both owners or something. I looked through the window. Brooke was laughing with the receptionist, her whole face lit up, talking with her hands the way she did when she was excited. Thank you for telling me, I said to Mallory. I'm sorry. I thought you should know. I went back inside. Brooke looked up. Ready to go? Actually, I have a question first. Who's Spencer Reed? Her expression changed immediately, smile freezing, eyes widening slightly. What? Spencer Reed. The veterinarian from Boston who's apparently moving here next week. Where did you hear that name? A package came last week addressed to you and him. And your Boston distributor thinks he's your fiancé. She looked at Mallory, then back at me. Can we talk about this in private? We can talk about it right now. Who is he? He's a colleague. He's consulting on the expansion. Is he moving to Kansas City? She hesitated. Yes. To work at your clinic? Potentially. We've discussed it. We. As in you and Spencer. Not you and me. Miles, this isn't the place. I just co-signed a $112,000 loan for your clinic expansion 30 minutes ago. If someone else is involved in this business, I need to know about it right now. She grabbed my arm. Let's go outside. We walked to the parking lot. I could feel Mallory and the receptionist watching through the window. Spencer is someone I knew in vet school, Brooke said once we were outside. We dated for a year before he moved to Boston for his residency. That was 10 years ago. We stayed in touch occasionally. Occasionally. Yes. And when I started planning the expansion, I reached out to him for advice. He's done 3 clinic build-outs. He knows the process. And now he's moving here. He's considering it. Nothing's finalized. Your distributor thinks he's your fiancé. That's a misunderstanding. I must have mentioned him, and they misinterpreted. Brooke, is Spencer going to be working at your clinic? She looked down. We've discussed a partnership. He'd run the surgical side. I'd handle general practice. It would be a good fit professionally. A partnership. In the clinic, I just co-signed a $112,000 loan for. You're a co-signer on my loan. The clinic is still mine. If I bring in a partner, that's my business decision. Except I'm liable for the debt. So if this partnership goes sideways, or if Spencer turns out to be a problem, I'm still on the hook for over $100,000. It's not going to go sideways. Does Spencer know about me? She didn't answer. Brooke, does your ex-boyfriend from vet school, who's moving here to be your business partner, know that you have a boyfriend who you live with and who just co-signed your business loan? It's complicated. It's a yes or no question. He knows I'm seeing someone. He doesn't know all the details. He doesn't know I live with you. I didn't think it was relevant to the business discussion. The business discussion where he's your fiancé according to your distributors. That's a misunderstanding. Is it? Because it sounds like you've been telling different people different stories. Your Boston contacts think Spencer is your fiancé. Your staff here think he's a consultant. I'm the co-signer on your loan who apparently doesn't need to know that your ex-boyfriend is becoming your business partner. She was crying now. I was going to tell you. I just didn't know how. How long has this been planned? Spencer and I have been talking about it for a few months. How many months? Since January. January. 3 months. You've been planning to bring your ex-boyfriend to Kansas City as your business partner for 3 months, and you asked me to co-sign your expansion loan 6 weeks ago without mentioning any of this. Because I knew you'd react like this. Like someone who doesn't want to be financially liable for a business venture involving your ex-boyfriend? Yeah, you're right. I'm reacting exactly like that. Spencer and I are just business partners. Is that why your distributor thinks he's your fiancé? Is that why you didn't tell him you have a live-in boyfriend? Is that why you kept this entire plan from me until after I signed the loan documents? Miles, please, let's go somewhere and talk about this properly. I don't need to talk about it. I need to figure out how to get off that loan. I walked to my truck. She followed me. You can't just get off the loan. We signed the papers. I'm going to talk to a lawyer. If you misrepresented the business structure when asking me to co-sign, there might be grounds to void my obligation. I didn't misrepresent anything. You didn't tell me your ex-boyfriend was becoming your business partner. That's pretty significant misrepresentation, Brooke. I got in my truck. She was standing in the parking lot crying, but I didn't stop. Drove straight to my office, canceled my site inspection, and started making calls. First call was to my attorney, Paul Hendricks. We'd worked together on some municipal contracts. Paul, I need advice on a cosigner situation. I signed loan documents this morning for my girlfriend's business. Found out 30 minutes later that her ex-boyfriend is becoming her business partner, and she didn't disclose that before asking me to co-sign. That's problematic. When did you find this out? Literally half an hour after signing. And the loan hasn't funded yet. Officer said 3 business days. Call the bank immediately. Tell them you want to rescind your cosigner agreement. You have a 72-hour right of rescission on most loan documents. If they haven't funded it yet, you can pull out. What if they refuse? Then we explore whether she committed fraud by not disclosing material information about the business structure. But try the rescission first. That's your cleanest exit. I called the bank. Asked for the loan officer we'd worked with. Mr. Harrison, this is Miles Cunningham. I co-signed the veterinary clinic loan this morning. Yes, Mr. Cunningham. How can I help you? I need to rescind my co-signer agreement. Long pause. May I ask why? I discovered after signing that there are material facts about the business structure that weren't disclosed to me. I'm invoking my right of rescission. The loan hasn't funded yet. Let me check with my manager. Can I call you back in 30 minutes? I'll be here. 20 minutes later he called back. Mr. Cunningham, we can process your rescission. However, without your co-signature, Dr. Carter doesn't qualify for the loan amount. We'd need to reevaluate based solely on her business income and assets. That's between you and Dr. Carter. I'm withdrawing my co-signature. I'll send you the rescission paperwork. Please sign and return by end of day. The loan will not fund. Next, I called our landlord. We rented the bungalow from a property management company. Heartland Properties, this is Jennifer. Jennifer, this is Miles Cunningham, 6834 Oak Street. I need to give notice on the lease. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You're on a month-to-month lease as of March, correct? Correct. 30 days notice as of today, final occupancy May 4th. Will Dr. Carter be staying? That's her decision. I'm only giving notice for myself. Understood. I'll send the move-out paperwork. I started looking for apartments. Found a 1-bedroom in Crossroads, right downtown, walking distance to everything. Available May 1st. $1,400 a month. Applied online, got approved within hours. That evening my phone started blowing up. Texts from Brooke. Calls I didn't answer. Finally around 7, she showed up at my office. I was still there, finishing work I'd missed earlier. She came in looking wrecked. The bank called. They said you rescinded the loan. That's correct. Miles, I can't get the loan without you. I don't qualify on my own. That's unfortunate. You should have thought about that before asking me to co-sign a loan for a business you were planning to run with your ex-boyfriend. Spencer isn't moving here anymore. I told him the whole thing is off. That doesn't change what you did. You planned this for months. You hid it from me. You asked me to take on massive financial liability without disclosing material facts. I'm not interested in being part of that. I made a mistake. I should have told you about Spencer. But I'm fixing it now. You're fixing it because you got caught, and I pulled the loan. That's not the same as being honest. What do you want me to do? Nothing. I want you to do nothing. I'm moving out. I gave notice on the house today. I'll be out by May 4th. You're leaving me over this? I'm leaving you because you demonstrated that when you have to choose between honesty with me and getting what you want, you'll choose what you want and lie about it. I'm not interested in building a life with someone like that. She tried everything over the next 2 hours. Promised to cut all contact with Spencer. Said she'd abandon the expansion plans entirely. Offered to go to counseling. Begged me to reconsider. I didn't argue. Just kept packing my desk supplies, preparing to leave. Over the next few weeks, the contact attempts continued. Wednesday, Spencer called from a Boston number. Miles, this is Spencer Reed. I want you to know nothing inappropriate happened between Brooke and me. We were just discussing business. Then you should have discussed it with her boyfriend before making plans. We're done here. Blocked the number. Thursday, Brooke's best friend Rachel called. Miles, Brooke is devastated. She made a mistake, but she's trying to make it right. By telling Spencer not to move here, that's not making it right. That's damage control because she lost the loan. She really does love you. She loved the idea of me co-signing her loan. There's a difference. Friday, long email from Brooke. Subject, I'm so sorry. Detailed explanation of how Spencer had reached out in January about relocating, how the partnership idea had developed, how she'd convinced herself it was just business even though she knew it would upset me, how she'd planned to tell me after the construction started, how she realized now that was wrong. Forwarded it to Paul with a note. Documentation that she planned to tell me after the fact. Might be useful if she tries to dispute the rescission. Set up filter to archive her emails. By early May, I was settled in my Crossroads apartment. Smaller space, but the location was perfect. Started cycling to work, only 2 miles. Joined a CrossFit gym nearby. Started volunteering with Habitat for Humanity on weekends, using my engineering background to help with builds. Work stayed busy. Summer construction season meant multiple projects ramping up. The structure and precision of it felt grounding. Late May, I ran into Mallory at a coffee shop downtown. Miles, how are you? Good, Mallory. You? Okay. Things have been weird at the clinic. I imagine. Dr. Carter had to scale back the expansion plans significantly. Without the big loan, she could only afford to update some equipment. She's still trying to hire another vet, but it's been hard. That's tough. Spencer did move here. Not to work at the clinic, but he joined a different practice in Overland Park. There was some drama about that. I think Dr. Carter was upset he came anyway. I absorbed that information. Complicated situation. You seem like you're doing really well, though. I am. Really well. Early June, I was at a community garden volunteer day. Something I'd started doing Saturday mornings, helping maintain the plots, when I saw Brooke. She was on the other side of the garden, talking to the coordinator, signing up for something. She looked thinner, tired. Her hair was different, cut shorter. She saw me, froze, then walked over. Miles. Hi, Brooke. I didn't know you volunteered here. Started a few weeks ago. It's peaceful. That's good. Awkward pause. How are you? I'm good. Really good. I'm glad. She shifted her gardening gloves. I heard Spencer moved here anyway. Mallory mentioned something. He's at a clinic in Overland Park. We're not working together. I made it clear that wasn't happening. Okay. The expansion didn't happen the way I planned. I could only afford minor upgrades. Still haven't hired another vet. I'm sorry it didn't work out. Are you? Yeah. I didn't want your business to fail. I just didn't want to be financially tied to it under false pretenses. She nodded, eyes getting wet. I understand. You were right. About all of it. I was dishonest, and I put you at risk without telling you the whole truth. I appreciate you saying that. I miss you. I miss what we had. We had something built on incomplete information. Once I learned the full picture, it didn't make sense anymore. Is there any chance? No. She wiped at her eyes. I figured. You look happy. I am. I'm glad. You deserve that. She started to walk away, then turned back. Thank you for pulling the loan before it funded. You could have stayed on it just to hurt me financially. You didn't. Wouldn't have served any purpose. I just wanted to protect myself. She nodded and walked back to the coordinator. I returned to the plot I'd been working on. Planting tomatoes, the precise spacing and depth requirements oddly satisfying. Spent another 2 hours in the garden, then walked home through the crossroads streets. My apartment was cool and quiet. I made lunch, Argentine chimichurri chicken I'd been marinating overnight, and ate while reading a book about sustainable urban planning. Later, I met some friends from CrossFit for a workout. Then we grabbed dinner at a German place nearby, schnitzel and beer, good conversation about nothing complicated. I walked home that evening thinking about how completely different my life looked now versus 2 months ago. Different neighborhood, different routines, different sense of what I wanted from a relationship. I didn't feel triumphant about Brooke's situation. I felt clear about the decision I'd made. The engineering projects I worked on were designed to last decades, built on solid foundations, with every detail verified before construction began. I'd learned to apply that same principle to my personal life. Verify the foundation before committing to the structure. I didn't feel vindicated. I felt whole. When someone asks you to take on massive financial liability for their business, and you discover after signing that they've hidden major facts about who else is involved, do you try to work through the deception, or do you immediately protect yourself legally and financially? I'm genuinely interested in your perspective. Share it in the comments.